Hi, scholars. So, this is your weekly update, and there are a few topics that I wanted to address. First being time management. So, calendars are really important. You cannot rely on Google Courses or Microsoft Teams or Zoom or whatever programs your professors are using to remind you that something is due. You need to keep your own calendar and check the weekly to-do lists on a regular basis. It takes time to get used to this, and I understand that. I also understand that there are no two classes on this campus that are set up the same. It's on you to know what assignments are coming up for any given class. I've put up a section in our course called useful links and resources. The things that I put in there are actually useful. Um, Another thing that I wanted to address is this concept of intellectual curiosity. Because one of the coolest things about being in college is the opportunity that you get to create your own educational journey. More often than not, new scholars tell me that writing essays is boring. And I would reply that you've been writing boring essays about boring topics. So, one of the freedoms that you have in college is deciding where to spend your energy, where to spend your time, focusing on topics that actually interest you, that relate to you, that you are passionate about, that maybe someday might be part of what you do for a living. So pick interesting topics and then write interesting papers about those topics. I'm going to foster your curiosity in this class, and in return, I ask you to just bring the same enthusiasm to the analysis and the research that I ask you to do. You're going to explore topics that are important to you and that mean something to you. So embrace it and run with it. Another topic that seemed to come up a lot as I was reading your forum discussions is the general lack of motivation. And y'all, this is going to be a hard semester. And reading your forum posts was honestly a devastating experience. I am just wounded for your broken hearts. Nobody wanted this to be your college experience. I'm trying my best to create opportunities to reach out. And so I wanted to call your attention to an announcement that I sent earlier today about a Zoom party that I'm hosting for all of my Gen Ed students tomorrow. Read through the announcement, and if you would like to meet some new folks, I've created a space for you to do just that. I've also created an Instagram account specifically for this semester, and that Instagram account is Ms. Tracy Writes. I encourage you to follow me and then follow back on my followers list to create a community of first year students who have at very least me as a common denominator, and use this space as a way to create and document your experience as a community of first year scholars. Um, a couple other things that I'm considering, but I would like your input on. I'm also up for hosting Netflix watch parties. Um, with the topics that we're covering, there are several movies and documentaries that might be useful in creating some better insight, fostering some better understanding on some of the topics that we addressed over the semester. If that is something that sounds interesting to you, let me know. Send me an email, talk to me during office hours. I'm happy to set something like that up, but I would like to know that there's interest in it. And to that, the reason that I am doing all of this stuff is because I cannot teach this class like a regular online course, mostly because I'm not a regular online instructor. And so I'm trying really hard to fit this square box into this circular hole um, as a way of creating online spaces for us to communicate with each other and to to create some sort of support network. Um, So take advantage of these spaces. I create them so that we can encourage each other, so that we can commiserate with one another, cheerlead, problem solve, and just generally be there for one another. I encourage you to join me in this community building experiment. Motivation is a lot easier to grasp when we are working together. The connections that I am seeing based on your glossary entries, on the paragraphs that you wrote for your diagnostic surveys, for your forum posts, I just want you to know that I am honored to know your stories. I have learned so much about you, and I'm honestly impressed. We have in this class, we have writers, we have poets, we have veterans, athletes, we have people who are working full time, we have people who are aspiring teachers, doctors, and lawyers, we have photographers, we have older sisters taking care of younger sisters, we have older brothers teaching younger brothers their homeschool lessons. We have immigrants, we have sons and daughters of immigrants, and so many first generation students. I'm a first generation student. And I just have so much respect for all of you and what you're doing. And I think that you need to hear that. So listen to me. I see you, I hear you, I think you're great. Now go wash your hands.